president-elect, during the campaign,
Yeah.
took it out on you. Not personally, but he had a Twitter war.
Failing NYTimes.
Failing NYTimes.
Turned up quite a lot. Though it must be said, the day he came to lunch, he began in the morning with failing NYTimes, and by the afternoon, by the time he left us, he gave us 75 minutes on the record. He left us and told the rest of the world media we were a jewel for the world in America. So, go figure.
So when he then attacks, say, for example, CNN, or as he has attacked in today's tweet, NBC, once again calling it fake news, what challenge does that present for the media?
Well, I think, firstly, professional solidarity is called for. In other words, we're all in the same business. And I think the idea, if it turns out to be a habit, of an attempt to exclude some people in a press conference or to try and exclude some, I think we need to think quite carefully about how we, as an industry, respond to that. Because in the end, plurality of media and every reporter in principle getting a chance to ask the question is part of the way democracy works.
But as he says, and as he said it in Bill's Times interview, the ability to go over the media, direct with by Twitter or Instagram, that gives him a different type of power than has been enjoyed before.
So I mean, and I don't think we can complain about this. The politicians have discovered something many young members of the public discovered years ago, which is they've got a direct loud hailer to the world. And he's going to be an activist. He's discovered that attack feels sometimes like the best form of defence. So he's going to be very different. I think we're going to have to cover him in a different way. Talking
about covering him, and your own company, 2020, the policy document that's just come out, you're betwixt and between. You've got to make cutbacks and you've got to expand at the same time.
Well, so we've got a wonderful but mature print business, which over time has been declining, will probably continue to decline in revenue. We've got a rapidly growing digital business. We need to invest strongly in the second one. We need to manage the first one as well as we can. And that means both investment and cuts at the same time.
But 2020 also talked about a different way of thinking editorially, didn't it, in the newsroom? A different way of editing.
That's true. Though I want to say, at the heart of it, though, this is about preserving uniquely Times journalism and the kind of depth and the weight and the quality of the investigations and the coverage you get from the Times. So it's not about changing the philosophy, it's about how you get the best journalism to your audience.
To that point, do you think companies like Facebook, like Mark Zuckerberg, Zuckerberg particularly, needs to take on the mantle and the title editor-in-chief? And that the argument that you're just a platform is the same argument that Airbnb uses to say it's not a hotel company, or that Uber uses. But actually, you have an editor-in-chief, don't you?
No, we do. And we're straightforwardly, we're a publisher. Dean Baquet is the editor of the New York Times. Arthur Salzberg is the publisher. It's very clear where the accountability is. Now, if you looked closely, Mark Zuckerberg did, at the end of the year, a video to Facebook staff, and he said there, we recognise we're not just a technology company, we're not just a platform, we have responsibilities. And to be fair to them, at the beginning of 2017, they've announced, let's see, the proof's in the pudding, but they've announced some new ideas about how they can relate to and perhaps do a better job in relation to journalism. So I don't think they're publishers, but I have to say, I also don't believe they're just a platform which can take no responsibility for what happens.
Fake news. I'm not saying they're fake news, and I'm not calling you fake news, and I'm certainly not calling ourselves
It wasn't a confession, that's right.
No, I assure you it was not that one. Yeah. But fake news is the phrase of the day.
I think we've got to be quite careful what we mean by fake news. There's a kind of commercial clickbait thing, Ellen DeGeneres dead sort of thing, an utterly untrue story.
Which is not true.
Which is done essentially to make money.
Right.
I think false assertions, and my particular bugbear is when people or institutions give false legitimacy to lies, and I think some very eminent people, including the President-elect, have been doing this. I mean, spreading lies as if they were true. And that is, I think, a real problem for democracy, and it's something which our job as journalists is that we've got to call it out, and call it out immediately in our headlines. The first time somebody reads one of these things, they should realise the context is it's not true.